everybody, my name is Steven and welcome to another Pixel for Life video tutorial. Today we're going to be doing some pretty sweet programming. Nothing too difficult, but we're going to be creating this. As you can see, we got this spinning in the background. Fairly easy, but it took me a little while to figure out how it's done. To start off, I made this Photoshop file of my logo. We're going to be making 3 files actually. So I'm just going to show you which ones I used so that you can kind of duplicate it to yourself. I'll of course have a download link for all of my files so you can try this out. But pretty much, let me open up my folder here. What I have is a mask layer, which all it is, let's see, there we go. Alright, so here's the mask layer, and all it is this logo with the brackets right here as transparent. So to do that, all I did was create a white background and then select these and just click delete. So we end up with this. And then the next image is a color layer right here, and all it is a circle with some let me show you over here. It's this file right here. Let me take off the clipping mask. Alright, so all it is this. So I went to image, canvas size, I brought up the canvas size. One second. Just brought up the canvas size. And then go to image, trim, and then just trim that away. And all this is a circle with a gradient of angle. And it doesn't really matter what this is, because this is not getting animated at all. And then it just has these different gradients at different points. Alright? So then the part that actually gets animated is this right here, which is a, let me leave this on here, a semi-transparent box with these lines in it. And you can't see it here. Well, barely, maybe. Right here. Let's see if I put it in the darker background. Right over here you can see it's just a square, and what that does is that gets animated. It gets rotated like this. So pretty much, let me show you on here what happens. So let me select this stripe layer, Control T, and all that happens is this rotates like this. We're just animating that exactly. Alright, so when you have those 3 files right here, the color, your mask, and then the stripes, we're going to open up the brand new Coda 2 right over here. Haven't used it too much, but I'm actually loving it quite a lot. Let me drag this blank index file into here, and we can start off fresh. Alright, so what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to do all the styles in the index HTML file. That way we don't have to be flipping back and forth, and you can kind of see it in one spot. So I'm just going to make quick style brackets like this, and then we'll leave that blank. And over here on the body, I'm just going to be creating a couple of div tags and throwing these images. So the first div we're going to be creating is div with an ID of logo wrap, and you can name this anything you want. And then I'm going to close it off and just put a comment that says logo wrap. And then inside of here, I'm going to drag these 3 images, and in this order. I'm going to go with the mask on the top, and then underneath that is going to be the stripes, and then the color all the way at the bottom. So it's like a stack. So let me go back to the animated. Alright, so it's stacked up like this. The top is that mask right here. Underneath that, directly underneath it, is the stripes, and that's going to be rotating. And all the way in the back is the color. So just like this. Our mask, stripes, and color. Very simple. Let me indent that so it's easier to see. And we're going to give all of these unique classes. So I'm just going to go class equals, and we're going to name this one, just to keep it simple, I'm just going to name it mask. And let me copy that. And then this one we're going to name stripe. And this final one we're going to name color. Alright, you might want to use something more unique like logo stripe or something like that. but for this purpose this is fine. So I'm going to save that, and if I refresh this, you can see we just have this big stack of images. Nothing pretty. The problem with that is they're kind of just getting pushed out right next to each other, and we want to tell it to float on top of each other. So to do that, we need to mess with the Z index. So let's create a style. Our style's over here. I'm just going to do ID of logo wrap, and then we're going to do our class of mask, and then we're going to do color, and then the bottom one is stripe. And of course I got to fix these so they all line up. Okay, so now that we have all the classes specified, we can start making it stack on top of each other. And for Z index to work, we need to have the container be positioned relative, and then all the pieces that we want to have stacked on top of each other have to be positioned absolutely. So relative is just a pretty much what all default elements are positioned as, and absolute is where you can tell it I want it to be 5 pixels from the top, and for absolute to work, the container that it's inside of has to be relative. A little confusing, but let me just show you over here. So for this, I'm going to give it a width of 263 pixels. And I came up with that because my mask layer, which is the one on the top, is 263 pixels by 263 pixels. Alright, so width and then height of 263. And now we're going to position it relative. And this is the wrapping container right here. So this one has to be positioned relative. And then these in here, we are going to actually, we want to call them all and make them all positioned absolute. So rather than specifying it for every one of them, what I'm going to do is just do pound logo wrap and then image. So this is going to do a do this property. So it's going to do whatever I say to all of the images within the div ID of logo wrap, and that is all of these. Alright, so what we want to have it do is position absolute. So if I save and refresh this, they all stack up on top of each other. That's kind of what we want, but it's in the wrong order. As you can see, the color box is on the top. So we want to mess with the Z index, so then the color box is all the way in the back, and the stripes are all the way in the, right above it, and then the mask is all the way on top. So to do that, for mask, I'm going to do Z index of 999, just a large number, it doesn't matter what you put. And then for color, I'm going to do a Z index of 9977. Again, I just want it to be smaller than the mask, but yet I want it to also be smaller than the stripe color. So for stripes, I'm going to do 9988. Alright, so this one is going to be above this one, and this one is all the way on the top. So if I save and refresh, you can see it's all stacked together. But they are not lined up correctly. So the first thing we want to do is change this logo box, the logo wrapper, so overflow is set to hidden. So anything outside of the 263 pixels square is going to be hidden. So if I refresh this, you can see it just automatically clips it off. But again, the color circle and the stripes are not aligned correctly. So I'm just going to do a couple of, just change a couple of dimensions. And since this is positioned absolutely, to move the image, all I have to do is do top. I'm going to go negative 54 pixels. And then left is going to be negative 54 pixels. So if I save that and refresh this, you can see it's centered up that color a lot better. Then I'm going to do the same thing for the stripe. I'm going to do top, and this is going to be negative 85 pixels. And I messed with this. I already have these. And the way that I figured this out was I just right clicked here, went to image, inspect element with Firebug, and then went over to the stripe, and then went over to here to top, and I just went negative, 20 pixels, let's say. And then I just kept messing with that until it lined up to how I wanted it to go. Very simple. Alright, so I already have that figured out. I want a negative 85, and then left I want it to be negative 54. Save that, and if we refresh this, you can see it lines up very nicely. Okay, that's all fun, but it is not animated like this. Look how fresh that is. You know what? You want to center this? Let's center it so it's like that, and it looks more beautiful. So to do that, what I have to do is create another div in here. We're gonna call it div with an ID of, let's see, center wrap. And then just close off that div. And then up here, we'll do pound center wrap. Oops. And then we will say, we'll give it a width of 263 pixels. Height of 263 pixels. And then we are going to do position absolute. And we can do position absolute because the body is positioned relative. This whole body tag. Alright. Then we want to do a margin of negative 131 pixels. And I got that number because that's half of 263. And so it's negative 31 on the top, bottom is 0. Or the top, right, bottom, and then negative 131 for the left. Save that, and let's see if that worked. Ooh, that did not work. Oh, one last thing is we have to change the left to 50%, and then top to 50% as well. Save that, refresh this, and boom. It's centered. And alright, so now that we have that, let me just clean this up a little bit. Let's start working on animating. So I'm just gonna make some space here within this stripe bracket, and we're gonna make some specifications. So what we want to do is create a property, I guess it's called. So we want to do @ and this is gonna be for WebKit only right now. Just like Chrome and Safari. It's just a lot easier with code. So @WebKit animation, and I'm gonna go. Oops, I'm sorry. @WebKit. I'm getting ahead of myself. Keyframe rotate. All right. So we're making a class for rotate, and we're gonna call upon this later. So for rotate, we want to give it. We're gonna tell it how to rotate. So we're gonna say from, and we want to say WebKit -transform, and we're going to do rotate, and we're going to start at 0 degrees. Alright, so we're going to say, so start from 0, and then we're going to say end at, so 2, and we're going to do the same thing, -WebKit, and we're going to do rotate, and I'm just going to do 720 degrees, so it's going to rotate 360 degrees twice. Alright, so let me see if I can clarify this a little bit better. So we're making this name called rotate. So whenever we call rotate, it's going to do these steps. So it's going to start at 0 degrees of rotation, and then it's going to rotate it 360 degrees twice, so 720 degrees. Alright, so now let's call upon this rotate. So to do that, all I'm going to do is WebKit.animation, and we're going to say rotate. Let me erase all this crap right over here. So we're going to call rotate right over here, and we're going to say do that in 20 seconds. So turn 720 degrees in 20 seconds, or you could have done 360 degrees in 10 seconds, but I don't want to confuse you. So within a 20-second period, turn twice, okay? And then we're going to say linear. So it's not going to slow down or speed up at the ends. You can also do ease in, ease out, but just linear. Just stay constant, a constant speed the entire time. And we're going to say infinite. If I can spell it, infinite. So just keep continuing. So do that spin infinitely. Never stop until I say. Alright? So what's going on here is we first created this class right here, which said to rotate twice. And then we told it to rotate twice within 20 seconds. So if we save that, refresh here, nothing works. Oops, I figured out what my problem was. I put this bracket in the wrong spot. This right here is not supposed to be part of stripes. So this bracket is supposed to just close off right over here. So just to make it a little bit clearer, let me do it like this. Alright, so this is its own separate part. Let me bring that back. Alright, so now I'm going to refresh this. And there we go, it animates. Alright, so let's just go over this one more time. The center wrap is just to center everything in the inside of this box. And let's see if I can bring this over. Alright, so we have be 50% from the left, 50% from the top. And then we have a logo wrap, which is a box that's wrapping this entire thing. And that's right over here with a width of 263. And then within that logo wrap, we have a mask, stripes, and colors stacked up on top of each other. And the stripes are getting rotated by this code right here. Rotate 20 seconds. And then these are the parameters. So we can change this to, let's say, 360 degrees. Save it. And if we refresh this, it will be animating a little bit slower. Alright, so I hope you learned something. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a PM or email, or leave it in a comment below. Check out our website for the download link so you can take this apart and make it your own. Thank you for watching, and be sure to subscribe.